This next series of videos is going to be going over commonly asked questions about the snap table, how to do certain adjustments, and just little things that you should know. When you first get your table, you're going to get a box with the table. It's going to have 4 guide roller assemblies, your 2 notcher handles, and your slitter pull handle. To install these, when you get to the job site, don't leave them on your table all the time. Take them on and off every job when you're traveling with it so they don't vibrate and fall off. So what you want to do with your guide rollers is take the carriage bolt out, run it through the bottom of your notching tabletop. The side of your roller that has the excess piece on it, that goes down. That's so if you're running a nail strip, the flared out part of your flange will fit underneath there. Put that through with your insert inside there as well, and then tighten down your T-nut. This insert's going to allow it to roll freely but stay snug at the same time. And we'll go over how to adjust those once we put the panel on. Next thing you want to do when you have your notchers in your table is you're going to take your safety pin out of your notcher by releasing the R-clip, pulling the shaft out, and you're opening it up. On your ruler table, you have 2 holes on either end, just for storage of your safety pins. Put that through, hold it there, and now you're not going to lose it. Next, you want to put your notcher handles on. You got 2 3/8 bolts. You want some 2 9/16 wrenches or a socket. Remove the nuts from your notcher pivot handle. Put it in. Align the holes. Put your rear one in first or on the top. Now, you have a series of other holes. That's just for your personal preference. If you're shorter or taller, adjust it to what's comfortable for you. But make sure you put in both bolts. Put your nuts on. Grab some wrenches and tighten them down. Now you're ready to operate your notchers. So now you have your slitter pull handle. This also has 2 carriage bolts, some washers, and your T-nuts. It also has multiple holes for different heights of people working, longer arms, whatever is more comfortable for you. All you need is 2 of the holes. Get your carriage bolt through the hole. So this is how it'll look. Get your carriage bolts, you're going to put them through the square holes on the top of your slitter carriage, and then line it up to whichever holes you'll figure out is comfortable for you. Play with it a few times, it ain't going to hurt to move it here and there. Put 3 washers on, secure your T-nut, tighten it down. Just hand tightens enough, you don't need to crank on it. Keep that on this side. And done. Now you're ready to use a slitter. Okay. When you get to the job, first thing you're going to want to do is get a piece of panel and adjust your tabletop. So what you're going to do, you have a T-nut right here. You're going to want to loosen that down. That has a lock bar that goes across it, so that way once you find your width that you want, you can tighten it back down and you don't have to worry about doing it again. So what you want to do is grab a piece of panel, set it on the table. Well, the panel, the ribs have to go inside the dies on your notchers. So what you want to do is grab the wheel and adjust it in. Slide it in, play with it until it fits where you want it. Make sure your rollers are adjusted all the way out at this point until you have it set where you want it. You're going to want to come down with your operator side notcher first. And now your operator side is the side with the ruler sticker on it, which is an offset sticker or chart. And this is an angle notcher, and these are what we call our standard notchers. The difference is the way it comes up and cuts, and your angle notcher is permanently fixed to your table, bolted on. Your standard notcher, you can out of your. Now that you have the panel clamped in with your angle notcher, not cutting through it, just clamped on so it's in the right position. Come to your non-operator side and come down. As you can see, it's rubbing, so it's not adjusted properly. Just with one hand, adjust it until that notcher seats on that rib perfectly. Still not right, adjust it out a little bit. Once you get that to seat in just like that, you're gonna come over here and lock it back down with this T-knob. Just hand tighten it, don't need to crank on it too hard, and then you're good. Open your notchers back up, and you're ready to go. And then we have another piece of panel to set up your guide rollers to the width. Do the same thing. Just gonna lock your notchers into place, loosen your guide roller, slide it in until it just touches the outside of the rib. Tighten it down, and you're gonna proceed to do the same thing on all four corners. What this is gonna do is when you have a 50-foot piece of panel, it's gonna help guide it through the table and keep it straight. It's not gonna keep it 100% perfectly square, but it's gonna keep you really close so you're not fighting your panel going through your table. So once you have that adjusted, you're ready to start notching. So if we wanted to do a quick notch real quick, clamp it in, clamp it in. Always set both of your notchers on your panel before you start cutting, and verify that it is on your mark on your panel where you want it to cut. To do that, you'll have your panel marked, and you'll put that mark on the inside of whichever rib or whichever die that you need to cut that length to. So just pull down. And sometimes we call these coupons, these will just shoot out. Sometimes you have to reach in and pull them out. Make sure you pull them out every single time. If you leave them inside, they start putting a lot of pressure on your dies and your notchers won't work properly and can damage them. Leave this operator side closed until you get done cutting the other side of the panel. See, this one didn't pop out. What you want to do is reach in there and grab it. If it feels tight, what you're going to want to do is give it a half turn up, and then come back down. It'll loosen it out and it'll pop right out for you. Now, you're gonna go in reverse. You're gonna open up your non-operator side, then open your operator side. And slide it down. Now, at this point, you're gonna be ready to cut your panel to length. So for that, we have our cutter. Now, your cutter has two locks on it. On the bottom, you have a vice grip clamp that locks it into place. So you can have your straight, or when you're setting it up for one of your valleys or angled cuts. Once you find where you want it to be at, you'll lock it into place. And on the back side of your slitter carriage, you have another lock. This keeps it from moving around when you're driving or whatnot. So what you're gonna do is grab a little tab, pull out, and rotate halfway. It'll hold it up, and now your slitter is free to cut. Now, since we're doing a straight cut, and remember, your slitter is always pull to cut. You do not push to cut. These blades are set at a pitch and an angle to make it, for it to cut properly. There you go. Slide your panel in. Now, the lower blade is a machined straight edge. So wherever you have that lined up on your inside of your panel, that's where it's gonna cut. So depending on how long of a hem you like to have on your panel, that's where you'll line it up. So if we're gonna use this side or whatnot, you just line it up. Put it right in the middle, clamp it down with your handle. Just rotates it, and it seats there. It's gonna hold your panel into place. Grab your pull handle. Now, just pull straight towards you. You don't need to pull down to the side, just pull straight. That's it. At this point, your panel's already been cut. Return the panel or your cutter back to the start position. That way, on your next cut, you don't have a piece of panel ran through the middle of your table and damn, I got my cutter on this side, I gotta pull it back and redo it. Good practice, just reset it each time. Now, for your hammer, same thing. You have a vice grip clamp on the bottom for locking it into place, and you have the same style lock on your handle over here. You're gonna pull it out, lift it up, and it's gonna unlock it. So that's right here. Pull out, lift up. Now you're free. Make sure you put this back in when you're traveling with it so it's not bouncing around and rotating while you're driving. Good. The handle with the little ball in it, this is your clamping handle. This is what's going to lock the panel into place and open your hammer so you can pull your panel through. Set it into just free position right there. Dude, grab your panel. Say this is a 10-foot piece of panel. You're going to run it straight through your table. You're going to run it until your ribs hit this fence. So if you look, this fence right here, this is another machine straight edge. Right here, the face of this right here will be facing up. Your ribs need to hit this on both sides. If your ribs are not hitting that, your hem will not be tight up against the rib. So what you're gonna do is push it in, you'll hear that little clipping sound. That means you know you're hitting it. After you push down on this handle, this is what's gonna lock it into place. Your panel will not move anymore. You can also look over the top and you will see that your ribs are hitting the face right here. When your panel is in the proper position or you know it's in the right spot, all you do is you grab the rubber grip, rotate it over, just like that. Bring it back to the start position, grab your clamping handle with the little ball, and open it up. Now you can grab your panel and pull it out through. Now you have your hem nice and tight up against the rib because it was hitting the fence. No tears in your corner.